let's stick to NWSL for now. There is a series of games that's going to be taking place this weekend. So while it is an international window and the United States women's national team is on duty, and there are a ton of NWSL players repping their national teams right now, New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC, and North Carolina Courage are actually going to be playing a makeup day, match. It's going to be their match day 3 game that's finally going to be played in September here. It was originally scheduled to be played on May 14th, but unfortunately, the game was postponed due to COVID-19 protocols. It was, I believe, set to be the home opener for Gotham FC in this. So a little bit of different energy in this one. Lisa, you've got a game that was supposed to be played very early in the season, and now you've got two teams that are going to be going head to head in September. We're talking final stretch of the regular season. Who do you got in this one?
So this is so interesting, kind of when you look at the landscape of the league and how this is unfolding and how now this game is being played. And when you look at form of some of these teams, I'm not sure if it is better or worse to be played now, honestly, because when you look at, I mean, this is an international window. So Gotham is without Midge Purse, Christine Mewis, Ifeoma Onumonu, who plays for Nigeria. And meanwhile, North Carolina, they're without a number of players. I mean, Casey Murphy is away with the United States national team. So the balance between these two sides playing at this point in the season, I mean, we can't dwell on it too much because it happened, and now we're here, and now these teams have to deal with it. We have to deal with it as analysts. Gotham's truly on the struggle bus, 7 straight winless for them. They're struggling. They've brought in Hugh Menzies, who has said that the morale for this club and this team is changed. It's a complete 180. They're ready to go. He's trying up different formations. We've seen Ali Krieger higher up into the midfield to try to combat some of their opponents' midfield pressure, playing alongside McCall Zerboni. I think Paige Monahan has had a tremendous season with Gotham. She's really stepped up for a team that has struggled with scoring, struggled to find the back of the net. And maybe the pressure is on for players like Onumonu, Purse, Mewis even. So that relieves some of the pressure from someone like a Monahan who doesn't feel that and then can go out there, play her game, be confident in what Monahan's able to do on the pitch, and she's able to pick up goals. Meanwhile, North Carolina, they're just cruising right now. It's really impressive to watch this team and what they've been able to do. Now, they are coming off of a loss, the 3-2 loss to Kansas City, but in their last 6 games, North Carolina has scored at least 3 goals. And that is literally insane. They had 2 back-to-back 4-goal games, one 4-goal game in the mix of all of that against Chicago Red Stars. But North Carolina can score. They can find the back of the net, but it's their defensive efforts that are truly struggling. And now without Casey Murphy, I am a little bit nervous as to what can happen. I think if you're a Gotham side, you're looking at this North Carolina roster and their most recent form and saying, we just got to shoot. We got to put opportunities on. When you think back to Gotham's last game against Angel City, they had opportunities. They were creating chances. But Angel City's defense got very lucky. Didi Hadicic had a fantastic game, scoring or saving so many different goals. So if you're Gotham, you're saying, let's just come out, do the same thing we did last time, be a little bit more clinical on our finishes and see what we can do. Meanwhile, North Carolina, they can score. They can score these goals. We saw a quiet game from Diana Ordonez last match to see kind of how she transitions into this one and if she's playing and what she's doing there. Caroline coming off of a brace. This one, it proves to be a bit more interesting than just what meets the eye when you initially look at this, how it's a COVID makeup game in the middle of an international break. I haven't given my pick yet. I want to hear your analysis first on this one. What are your thoughts on this match, Sandra?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm feeling everything that you sort of laid out, already. I think the biggest thing for me is that knowing that these two teams are just in completely different areas right now in their season. I think on paper, you're looking at two teams and you see, hey, there are two bottom table teams who are going to be playing a makeup match at that on Sunday, right? And I think you have to look a little bit outside the lines of that paper a bit. You're looking at, who's going to be available in these games. There's an international window right now. We're doing this live for our listeners, so we don't have the availability reports in terms of the personnel who will be available or unavailable in this match due to either injury or international duty. We do know for Gotham, what are they going to look like, and what are they going to present to a North Carolina side that has sort of been trying to make a little bit of noise down this final stretch of the season. They're going to be without Midge Purse. They're going to be without Christy Mewis. These are two massive players to be without at this point in the season. But again, this is a game that they didn't anticipate that they would be unavailable in. So I do have some concern. I think there's you've got Ordonez who's nursing a shoulder injury right now. We saw her kind of come out of the pitch, as a precaution a couple weeks ago. But I think there's potential for a game like this to maybe perhaps get out of control a little bit, maybe for lack of better phrasing. So it's just I do wonder if a team like North Carolina, who are going to come out in this game with an entirely different sense of urgency compared to a team like Gotham, who's going to be missing a couple key players, who have, what is it at this point now, 12 losses on the season. And it's just, they're being led by interim head coach Hugh Menzies, and it's just kind of they're in a different phase of their season versus North Carolina. So I just want everybody to come out of this game happy and healthy, and to be able to continue on with their regular season, But I do think that Carolina might be able to come out here and go ahead and get all 3 points. So I'm in terms of my pick, I'm going with North Carolina just because of their recent form. And even if this game, I think even if this game does come down to midfields or defensive shape, I just think that North Carolina is starting to figure things out very, very late in the season. But with players like Carson Pickett, being able to get higher into the attack and try to spearhead and facilitate things, or somebody like Denise O'Sullivan being able to dictate those things. I just think that they've got a current run of form, even coming off of a loss. They've got a current run of form that I think you look at that team and you say, maybe there's enough here to go ahead and pick up a win. But with so many players missing, Lisa, I did go back and forth and wonder if this was going to be a draw. I did.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at that because Denise O'Sullivan is with Ireland. She's playing in the World Cup right now. So a lot of the players are not there for international break, and the results of this match matter. So it becomes a balance of, okay, this is a game where we should have off. We need to rest some players, but also this match definitely matters moving forward, because if you look at the standings right now, Gotham is at the bottom. They've got 12 points. This is a little rough for them. They're 14 points off of that playoff line, where Chicago sits at 26 points. Meanwhile, North Carolina, they're at 16 right now. If they win, they get 19 points. That just closes the gap. They won't change positioning. They'll stay in 9th place, North Carolina, but that'll close the gap between these bottom 4 teams and that top 4 teams, or the bottom 4 teams and then the top teams. And North Carolina can almost solidify themselves as being part of that top bunch, leaving Racing Louisville, Washington, and Gotham at 14, 13, 12 points at the bottom. It just creates separation. So for North Carolina, this game matters a ton. They need to pick up points in this one. I agree. I'm going to go with North Carolina in this one, but if it's a draw, we won't be surprised. We'll come back and we'll laugh about it. But I think North Carolina needs to win this, and I hope they can score some goals.
We believe in Brittany Ratcliffe, right? For North Carolina. Yeah, I'm eager to see that. I think
I believe in Brittany Ratcliffe. She's a great player. It's so great.
I just think that this is a match day 3 game that's being played in September. It's just a very different. It's going to have a much different energy, than if it would have been played, back in May. So I just think that, I'm going with a pick. I'm making a pick because there's just one, actual NWSL regular season match that's in play. But, I am going against my gut here. I am saying, like, that maybe I kind of wanted to go with a draw. So we'll see how the teams come out and face up against each other and what type of urgency they play with in this match.